All right, let's hear from a few more people today. We are now taking calls via Discord. It typically works really, really well. You can find the Discord at davidpakman.com/Discord. Let's go across the pond. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Is it Shanice in the United Kingdom?
Hi, yes, it's Shanice. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Are you calling in from Nottingham?
I am, yes,
What
yeah,
a
from Nottingham
pleasure.
in the UK.
What a pleasure.
Thanks. I'm a huge fan of the show.
Thank you.
My question was, I was just wondering, why do you think that the left kind of branding and messaging is generally so much less successful than the right? I feel as though whenever the left come up with something like defund the police or something like that, it just kind of tends to cause like a lot of infighting. It doesn't really tend to kind of like go as well. Whereas when the right come up with something, it always tends to kind of work a little bit better. Do you think it's just kind of, I feel as if it's almost like the bully in the playground, like the right's voice is just louder. They kind of just go along with points without really any kind of evidence, but it tends to work better for them than it does kind of for us on the left.
Beautiful question. So I think that there's two answers depending on the circumstances. So sometimes the left just comes up, just brands a bad idea. Okay. So like defund the police wasn't a good idea. It was a bad idea. And as I explained in my 10-point police reform plan, reallocation of resources, yes. Reform, replacing police with social workers for some types of calls, yes. But in some places, you might need to increase funding for police in order to accomplish those things, or to be at the proper level of staffing in order to have police be more proactive than reactive. Okay, so like defund the police was a bad idea as a slogan because the idea itself is not a good idea. That's one side.
Right, okay.
But there's a whole other set of examples, which are sometimes the left assumes that because we have the right idea, that the branding doesn't matter and we just have to explain the idea and everybody will like it. And the right, who has the wrong idea, is like, that doesn't really matter. We just need a slogan. And they come up with a slogan and it works. I mean, pro-life is a great example. And so is tax relief. Pro-life. Well, actually, what you're doing is you're picking and choosing certain medical situations that should be left to patients and doctors and assigning a name to it where if you're against it, it's like, wow, that you're anti-life. If you're not pro-life, you're anti-life by definition. That's really good branding, even though the policy makes no sense. Tax relief. Anytime taxes go down, it's the relief of a burden. So even though the real situation with taxes is you need well-balanced taxes and well allocated in order to pay for the things that we all expect would be paid for through taxation. Tax relief, listen, we're relieving people of this burden. So sometimes the left is completely correct on the position and they assume that the facts alone will win people over. And the right's like, no, we can just come up with a better slogan. So two different categories there, Shanice.
That makes perfect sense. I really agree with what you're saying. I also think I liked what you were saying the other day as well about these kind of politicians who seem to kind of be doing everything with the coronavirus like wrong and incorrectly. They could kind of be called like pro-vaccine. I think things like that is like a really good idea too.
Pro-virus, you mean? Pro-virus.
Yeah, pro-virus. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, let's call them what they are. They seem to be on the side of the virus. And especially when, okay, they might refuse the vaccine, but you're also going to refuse getting tested. Like, what's the reason? That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, these are all relevant examples.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering my questions.
My pleasure. I appreciate the call. All right. Shanice from Nottingham, UK. Great call. One of our sponsors is Blinkist, who's been supporting the David Pakman Show longer than any other sponsor. Blinkist is the app that lets you listen to or read an entire nonfiction book in just 15 minutes. Blinkist is the way to absorb those books you can't make time for. Blinkist takes top nonfiction titles, pulls out the book's key takeaways and insights, and gives it to you in the form of a text or audio explainer that you can consume in 15 minutes. With Blinkist, now you actually do have time to learn about all the things you've been wanting to tackle. On the Blinkist app, I just listened to This Is Your Mind on Plants by the great Michael Pollan. super interesting, the history of caffeine and so many other things. Blinkist has you covered on podcasts too. Blinkist takes long episodes of popular podcasts and distills them into audio you can listen to in 15 minutes. With Blinkist, you can become knowledgeable about so many different things. You can have conversations with people about more topics. Blinkist makes you more well-rounded. Try Blinkist for free and get 25% off a subscription. Go to Blinkist.com/Pacman. The link is down below.